Hi everyone, Grey Power 60 here. I'm just going to stand up to see if you can see everything. Kind of far away. I'll try and zoom in a little bit later. Welcome to another hashtag Stamping Sunday. This is hosted by Thelma and Paula. I don't know Paula, but I know Thelma quite well. Anyway, this week on Stamping Sunday, I thought I would cover a few tools that you can use instead of clear stamps or block stamps. And I thought I would go over some of the things that I use in my journaling, and thought maybe, I mean, most of you probably know this already, but I thought I'd do a recap for some of us who have been doing this for a long time, and for some of us who maybe just started doing journals or doing paper crafts and so on. So there are so many things that you can use as a stamping tool. Now, I brought out my inks. I also brought out some paint, just randomly picked a color. I also have these bingo markers, and those are my inks. Now you can use ink or paint or whatever for your base, whatever it may be. So that's kind of, I'm just giving you sort of examples. You can also use markers and all kinds of things by adding a little, you know, if you have a glass plate or something that you can scribble on and spray water on it, if you'd like to use those as your base. Now, the tools that you can use, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I like hot chocolate, and sometimes you'll get wrapped around your cup, you'll get a sleeve, and if you open it up, it's corrugated inside. I also have my own, in my own stash, I have corrugated paper. I can't remember where I picked it up. I'm not sure, but I have 8.5 by 11 size corrugated paper, which I've cut some pieces out, and you can use that as a tool for stamping. You can use makeup brushes for stamping. You can buy the bigger stamp sponge, and what I've done with my other one, this had 2 in a pack, is I've cut it into 4 or 6 pieces so that I can use that to sponge on my projects. If you happen to have some of these you're not using, you can also use these for stamping. I also brought some other little acrylic paints that you can use. You can also, if you order from Amazon, you can also use their packaging. If you open it up, I just cut up the top, it's just like a bubble wrap. I also have bubble wrap. So I have both. This is a large piece. I have a couple of these, and these I use for when I am doing some artwork for my journals. I will use the bigger ones, but I also have some smaller pieces that I use for just small little places. I also picked up all kinds of sponges you can use. I picked up these sponges with the really weird holes in them. I think they're faux sea sponges. I got these at the dollar store. So that's something else you can use. If you happen to be at the dollar store and you need to get some brushes or so on, I happen to pick this set up. And these brushes can be used to just splatter on. This one here is more a different texture, kind of splattered. And this is a smooth, which is basically the same as using one of these sponges. And this is another one that's very similar to the sea sponge that I've already got. So if you can see that. Sorry, I'm not zoomed in because I kind of wanted to cover a lot of stuff. And yeah, and different types of brushes and so on. You can use them as stamping tools. And that's what I have for this week. So what I thought I would just demonstrate a few. I hope you won't mind. I didn't wash that out. Naughty, naughty girl. So let's see if we can try and match up some of these colors. And if not, that's okay too. So we got a blue. And I just want to, I'm going to spray it so it'll be a little lighter, but you can leave it thick if you want more of a thickness, if you want more texture, and so on. So let's try a couple of things that we can use here. Now that's not going to be very good for this, but this is great for inks. So let's go with the corrugated one first. Let's do a purple on a spot I haven't used before. My inks are starting to dry out, so please forgive me. And you might have to do a little bit of pressure on some of your. This is called a color box. It's a paint box. I got that quite a long time ago. It's pigmented. And I use this a lot because it's all the different colors. So let's start off with this one. And there is your corrugated. Now you may want to do different textures. You may want to add more ink and make it more lines. So right now I'm going to just put down oh my God, I can't spell. Oh, corrugate. I'm sorry, I'm misspelling it totally, or coffee sleeves. I should have paid attention. Okay, that's being silly, isn't it? I should have done these ahead of time. Okay, let's try using bubble wrap. And again, I just have this kind of paint. Now, I may have to smudge it around because it's not, there we go. It's not mixed, is what I was trying to say. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm just spreading it around with the sponge. And here we have bubble wrap. I think I can spell bubble wrap. Sometimes making these little sample boards are really handy for when you want a specific texture and you can't remember what tool it was that you used in order to get the texture you wanted. So let's go with a makeup brush. I'll use the same color. A makeup brush, a makeup sponge. So if you wanted just this type of thing, I mean, you can do it any way you want, okay? And what I should have done was written these down ahead of time. Makeup sponge. Now, opposed to, let's grab one of these, what they call faux sea sponges. So let's see if I can pick some of this paint up. Now you could use ink. I'm just using paint because it's right in front of me. But let's just do it this way. So you're getting kind of, I'm pressing a little bit more on this side, but again, you're getting these different textures. You're getting these different, whatever you're looking for. So this is, I'm going to put exactly what it's called, faux sea sponge. Now, I use these templates a lot. I have one, it's not related to Stamping Sunday, but I have one here. I don't know how well you can see it. This is a 12 by 12, and if I'm doing a master sheet, a master board, I have this from Carrie the Crafter. It's C-E-R-I, the Crafter. He showed us this template where out of a 12 by 12, you can make 2 journal cards, a long tag, a journal card here, a journal card here, 4 journal cards that are 4 by 3. This is 4 by 6, 3 by 6, and then 1, 2, 3 medium tags at 5 by 2. So I use these templates, and I have them, sorry, I'm just going to hang it back up. I have them hanging where my calendar is so that I can always refer to it. I do have another one, but that's all I wanted to show you for now. So we now have that. We've got the corrugated, we've got bubble wrap, we've got a makeup sponge, we've got a sea foam. All right, now the other thing I have is bingo markers. And I just have to get this one going because it's been sitting. I haven't gone to bingo in a long time. It's been sitting, so I just sprayed the top of it to get it going. Now I'm going to show you, this is one kind of splotch that you can get with one that's not working very well. And then this one is one that I picked up at Michael's. It was on sale a couple of years ago. And these ones, oh, this one's not going to come out as quickly as I want it to. I'm just stamping on, I've got a book beside me here. And this book is my glue book. And the pages I use is for either gluing on or if I'm stamping with clear stamps and I want to just take some of the ink off, I will stamp it on the book. So I use it for many things, not just glue. And even though they're dots, you can also swirl, you know, you can make your own design, but it's still part of the whole stamping thing. So we're going to call these daubers. Okay, and you can get them in different colors. You can do whatever you want with it. The corrugated stamping tools. Now, I'm going to use these 2 brushes. I can wash them, it's no problem. I'm going to use these 2 brushes. I'm going to use one of them with, I'm going to use paint simply because it's brighter for the demonstration here. It's kind of easier to see rather than start using all kinds of ink. So I'm just using paint, acrylic paint, but you know, stamping, you can use ink pads. Obviously, you can use our Distress Oxide as part of stamping if you want to kind of push it a little bit. I mean, really, you can use all kinds of different tools. It doesn't have to be just clear stamps or block stamps, depending on the kind of work you're doing. But if you're doing even a card, if you want to do a design on the outside, sorry, I'm just going to wipe that. You can use, I mean, I don't know how many of you are with me, but those of you who are with me for a while, you'll know that I had a little piece of vegetable and I was using paint to make different, I don't have one right now, so I can't really show you, but I'm just trying to get some of the paint off of this. I don't need that much paint on there, but this is another design that you can do depending on what you want. You know, what kind of things you're doing. I should have brought my water in with me. And so this is a flat head brush, paintbrush. And I like to keep these sample pages. I like to keep these so that if I'm looking for a texture, if I'm looking for something I want to design, and I'm looking for some kind of stamping ideas, and I want to try something else, this is kind of the fun thing. Now I don't have any vegetables, so I can't put that on my to do my template here. But just to show you, this is just one of these brushes, and it is fine, and it pretty well works the same as something like this, or something like this, or even makeup brushes. So we'll see how close to this type of thing it comes. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of it on the paintbrush and see. No, we're getting a different splash, and I'm pressing harder on one side than I am the other, but you get the idea. So that is another style. And like I said, I'll be punching a hole in this and sticking it up. So this is a, what do we call these? Sponge paintbrush. I'm going to call it a sponge paintbrush. I hope I'll know what that means. Oops, not brushes, brush. So that'll give you some ideas of some kind of other kinds of stamping. I didn't do this one, but it's very similar to a lot of the other ones. But let's get it dirty and I can wash it. Gives me more things to wash. So this is another, if you just want a little bit of speckle, I'm going to bring it up to you and show it to you in a minute. And this is this paintbrush. I gotta wash that. So I'm going to call that my what am I going to call it? I was going to call it a bristle brush, but it's not. I'm just going to put paint brush. Oh my gosh, what am I going to call it? It almost looks like steel wool, so I'm going to call it steel wool. Look, I know that doesn't make sense, and I'm sure I'll come up with a better name after, you know, the film is over. But it looks like steel wool, but it's a sponge, right? So I gotta wash that as well. So those are some of the, just to give you some ideas of how you can texture and stamp with things like paint and inks. And of course, we've got our distress inks, which we can also use. Oh, let me grab. I didn't have to go far. It was right here. Let me just do another. Even though this isn't really stamping, but it is in a way because you're using a brush and you're using ink. This is a blending tool. So that is what I'm going to call that. Blending tool. My writing is terrible today. Blending tool. And I'm going to put distress ink. blending tool, I'll know it's this because that is what I call my blending tool. I mean, this is a blending tool as well, but this blends better than this. So that is it for me for today. I'm sorry I kind of screwed up a little bit because I meant to write everything down, but just to give you a closer look, and please excuse my writing or my printing. So here we've got corrugated, and I of course spelled it wrong, corrugated stamping, bubble wrap stamping, makeup brush, makeup sponge, a faux sponge, daubers, a flathead paintbrush, a sponge paintbrush, and I hope I remember what that is. Now, I called it a paintbrush, but it's a steel wool look. I hope we'll remember that. And the blending tool with Distress ink. So this is kind of, you know, if I want a certain look or a certain texture, or I want to do something different, rather than using my clear stamps, but I want to create something different, these are great tools. The other thing that is a great tool, but this is mostly for just journaling or artwork or whatever, is your Sharpie, where you can also, it has nothing to do with stamping, but let me put it, maybe that's wet. I won't put it on the back of that. Let me grab, I don't have any papers. Oh, here's one I can use. Here's one I can use. Instead of getting script stamps, you know, clear stamps, and you want to do some, you want to see some script writing, just doodle it. And you can pretend that these are words. You can, you know, it doesn't have to be, some people are better at this than I am. But it's just pretending to write. I mean, you can even put in real words if you want to. But just scribbling down whatever, like I wasn't prepared for this part, but sorry, I can't write and not talk. I mean, I can't talk and write at the same time, but anyway. So you can practice. I mean, that obviously this is totally off topic, but if you don't have script, and you know, you don't have to write it as big as me, you can write it smaller and use pretend words. You can even put real words and just mix them all up, you know, whatever. But if you want to create something like that, just do fake writing, but don't do it like me because I'm really bad. So that's it for me for today. Thanks for joining me on this hashtag Stamping Sunday, where I just talk about different stamping tools other than block stamps or clear stamps, depending on what kind of artwork you're working on or what you're working on and what you might like to use. So that's it for me. Sorry for the kind of flip-floppy way I've done this. Excuse my writing. But I just wanted to share that. And of course, this is going to be my template for when I want to get a certain look. Because sometimes when I'm working on a project, whether it's a masterboard or whatever, sometimes I come up and I can't think of what texture, and I forget what I have sometimes. And by looking at this, I'm going, I really want to see that in that area, or I really need to blend in this area, or you really want to use corrugated lines because you really want some lines and textures. And by taking your corrugated sleeves, you can go this way and then turn it this way, which gives you squares. So, you know, there's lots of things that you can do when you don't have all the stamping tools that you want. And I just thought I would share that with you today. So thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed the video and got a good laugh out of my silly nonsense here, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed before. I'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you again next Sunday on #Stamping Sunday. And this one is hosted by Thelma and Paula. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.